You can see from what's happening in my background that it's Diwali, so happy Diwali. And I think it's also Happy New Year, right? Because yesterday was officially Diwali and today is officially the New Year of 5,000 plus or minus a few. We don't know exactly how many. So it's a wonder. All the other years that are celebrated by all the other people are according to their founder of religion. And so by that account, this one is 86, 87, I don't know. How many years since Baba has come, since 1937 to 2021? Must be around 86, I suppose. So if you say you're in the year 86, no one will believe you. But so today Baba's asking us to churn the knowledge, because by churning the knowledge, you experience the depth of meaning of what he's saying. And that experience is called supersensuous joy. And then he says, from that space, go and do service. So this is 5th of November. So in England, 5th of November is the equivalent of the burning of Ravan. Because in England, they burn Guy Fawkes, who was somebody who decided to blow up the parliament, but they caught him and they dealt with him in an extraordinarily horrific manner. And then every year they do the fireworks and the big bonfire. So it's almost exactly the same as the burning of Ravan and so on. So in this way, the ancient traditions get incorporated into modern life. The names are changed and everything carries on. And people don't know that it's an ancient tradition. And here in United States, there's not Arizona, but somewhere like that, the Burning Man. You know about this? Yeah. So it's there all over the world, but people don't put the dots together and see that it comes from the source of Indian stories and memories. So the essence, sweet children, churn the ocean of knowledge and develop new ways to do service such that everyone can receive an introduction to the Father. And the question is, what method does the Father show you to make your fortune elevated? The answer, if you want an elevated fortune, then you have to get past your unclean, negative habits. It's not a good idea to tell lies or get angry. People won't trust you, they won't like you. Be keen on doing service as the Father serves from an egoless state. In the same way, keep yourself busy doing spiritual service to benefit others. So one of the ideas in most cultures to get a person to be egoless is to get them to do labor work. But actually it doesn't work, because ego is not necessarily as people think, oh, I'm a very high person, so I can't do that kind of work. That applies only in a few communities, but not everywhere, because people's ego is for different reasons, not just only that one. The song is to live in your lane and to die in your lane. Om Shanti. You, sweetest spiritual children, must understand and explain who the Father is. And when you have faith that you are the children of the unlimited Father, this faith brings on this experience of supersensuous joy. So then you say, that's it. I got it. And the mercury of your happiness rises, your temperature of happiness rises just by this one understanding. So this is a very good point to keep you in permanent happiness. You call yourselves Brahma Kumars and Kumaris. That means you are the new creation. There's creation through Brahma, so you are the direct children of Brahma. So first of all, you must develop faith that that one is your Father, and he's the highest. Next down after him is Vishnu. And so you know the picture of the Trimurti has Shiv Baba on top, then Brahma, Vishnu, Shankar, and then everybody else. So you receive the inheritance of the world of Vishnu from the Father. So you should definitely be happy about that. So inspire others to have faith in this and get them to write it down. People say that if you are of Vishnu, that means you are a Vaishnav. And the people of Bharat know very well that deities were viceless. And in heaven, heaven was called the pure household ashram. So they sing to the deities when they go worshipping that you are completely viceless, and we, by comparison, are vice-based. In the Golden Age, all the people are completely viceless, whereas in the Iron Age, all the people are impacted by vices totally. Those who engage in lust are called impure and corrupt, but you wouldn't say that an angry person is impure and corrupt. So they use the word corruption, like if a girl gets raped, they will say she's corrupted. So corruption in this case is not about bribery, but corruption is about when a child is sexually assaulted, then psychologically they are seriously damaged and their behavior is impacted by that, and that is called the corruption of the person. And so a person who's angry is not called corrupt because of that. Even sannyasis are angry. So what happens when you suppress your sexuality is you become violent. That's normal. So there's no point in making everybody celibate unless they want to be, because they'll just be violent. So we have to think about that. So first of all, introduce people to the Father. When the highest on high Father comes in Bharat, then it is the time for the great war to take place, because the Supreme Soul comes and carries you from the impure world to the pure world. So there's no way you can take the souls away from the earth unless you take them all at once, because they'll just keep reincarnating otherwise. The bodies are all to be destroyed. So have faith that the Father is teaching us, and therefore you should study regularly. Here it is not a hostel where people come and live, because if we were to build this as a hostel, then we would require many buildings. Even if people come for 4 or 7 days, you still need many buildings. So the father says, no, you must study this, live at home with your families, and continue to remember Baba. That's it. Baba is the purifier. And the father says, stay in my remembrance, and I guarantee that this will neutralize all your negative karma. So first of all, get people to write down, do they realize it, to make them write it down at that time, because otherwise they forget it immediately. So make them write down that they truly are the children of Shiv Baba, and that they should therefore claim a right to be the masters of the world. All the kings, queens, and subjects are masters of the world. Why? Because they say this is our world. That makes them the masters. Doesn't mean they're the king. So Baba is giving directions to those who are explaining at the fairs and exhibitions. So in that, the main thing to explain is that God, the highest of the high, is only one, and he alone is the ocean of knowledge and the purifier. So knowledge and purification always go together, which means you get purified by the impact of the knowledge on your spirit, which develops the yoga, that creates the fire, that shifts your consciousness. Since he is the ocean of knowledge, it must be him who gives directions. Krishna cannot give directions. No one apart from Shiv Baba can be God. Of course, when Krishna is on the earth, there's not that many people. So even if he did give directions, that would be just to a tiny fraction. So Shiv Baba comes when everyone's here. So no one apart from Shiv Baba can be God. Who can be God? There are criteria you can check. Brahma, Vishnu, and Shankar, they're deities. So the first criteria to be God is you have to be bodiless. So Brahma, Vishnu, Shankar have subtle bodies, so that excludes them right there. In heaven, there are human beings with divine virtues, and in the Iron Age, there are human beings with devilish characteristics. And you should explain this to them later. But the first thing to do is to introduce them to the Father and make them write down and sign that they have understood this. Why Baba wants this is because if you want to draw the attention of the government, for example, and then you write something and you have 5 million signatures, it means take it seriously. Find many different ways of churning the ocean of knowledge and then tell Baba. Say to Baba, Baba, they are asking these questions and this is what we explained. And then if it wasn't right, Baba will tell you such a point of information that it will make an impact on them. So you can see that the Gyan and the explanation was constantly getting evolved and developed. To say that Baba is omnipresent or that he incarnates in a crocodile or a fish is also defamation. So this is why you have to introduce them to Baba. Baba alone makes you into the masters of the world. It doesn't make any sense for God to come in a crocodile and make somebody a master of the world. It'd be other crocodiles or something. It doesn't make any sense. So this is why you have to introduce people to Baba. Baba alone makes you the masters of the world. Lakshmi and Narayan were the Sato Pradhan masters of the world. And then, by taking rebirth, they gradually became Tamu Pradhan. So Tamo Pradhan doesn't just mean bad, it means old, disintegrating, fragmented, rotting, and like that. Everything goes from new to old, except the confluence age, where everything goes from old to new. So the Father now says, remember me, and this will make you Sato Pradhan. It doesn't matter what religion a person belongs to, the Father's message is for everyone. So it has to be presented in such a way that anyone from any background can relate to it. He is called God the Father, the liberator. So he would definitely come in the impure world to liberate you. Nobody needs to be liberated from heaven. At the end of the Iron Age, the entire world is Tamo Pradhan. Only when everyone becomes Sato Pradhan can they go to the new world. And those who do not go to the new world, they will stay in Nirvana, the world of silence. So make this very clear in their intellect so that they understand that what they need to do is establish themselves in remembrance of the Father. No need to remember bodily beings. That won't help you. Why do people remember somebody is because of what they get from them. So what you get from bodily beings is disappointed, mostly, isn't it? So no need. And the Father is bodiless, without a form, physical form. So he is called Vichitra. So Vichitra, you can't really say without an image because people wouldn't really understand what that means. But Vichitra is that he's there, but he doesn't have any kind of tangible form that you could represent or that you could put a frame around. So this is Vichitra. And everyone else has an instrument through which they present themselves. He doesn't. You should be very interested in explaining to others. There are many who come to the exhibitions, but not so many come to the centers. By continuing to do service, you children will get a lot of enthusiasm, because when somebody enjoys what you're saying, you enjoy it too. But here, you repeatedly forget the Father. You go back to ordinary. If you kept yourself busy doing service, when you're doing service, you're explaining the knowledge. So you're explaining it to them, but mostly you're explaining it to yourself. And then that puts you in remembrance. So he said, if you're doing service, you would not forget the pilgrimage of remembrance. You would stay in remembrance yourselves, and you would also remind others to remember Baba. So this is the purest karma of all, is being in contact with God. And people, if you call that charity, nobody will understand it, but that is actually punya. So you children are studying. It is in your intellects that you will definitely claim the kingdom. Do you believe that? Are you claiming the kingdom? Think about the kingdom. There's something called the kingdom within. You have to be the master of your own self, sanskaras, mind, will, everything. But the kingdom, a king is a leader, a protector, someone who inspires, someone who loves, a provider. And so someone who does a lot of service develops that. So Even by remembering this much, you experience happiness. When you forget this, you become anxious. You should write to Baba, Baba, I am experiencing supersensuous joy. That's good. However, there is now only a short time left before we go to our world of happiness. It's been a short time left for a long time, but it's still a short time because time goes so fast. Have you felt that? We were very ill for 63 births and we had no medicine. We had our souls were sick. And so we became diseased. No one was able to take care of us. And so this illness became deep-rooted. The illness of reacting to circumstances, of lying, getting upset, emotionally out of order. All this is called illness, spiritual illness. So this illness is such that no one, apart from the eternal surgeon, can help you to become free from it. So one of the special temples of Shiva is called Vaidyanath. And Vaidyanath is the memorial that God is fundamentally a healer, a doctor. It is now time for everyone to become free. You will become pure and you will go to the world of liberation, Muktidam. Some say it's a good idea to go to Nirvana and stay there. So Baba says, well, those people don't have much of a role. They just go there for 4,999 years and pop down for a second and they'd say, oh my God, let's go back. So that makes sense. Someone who has a very, very small part in a play would not be called a hero or heroine or a leading actor. You have to be there the whole time. So the Father explains, remember the Father as much as possible and become strong. Do not forget to remember the Father, because the Father is the principal one, the most important, the most influential, the most powerful being there is, and the most interesting, but he's intangible, so it's a little bit inaccessible unless you become soul conscious. So all these smaller pictures, subsidiary pictures, are also for explaining to others. Use these pictures to prove that Shiva and Shankar are not one and the same. So we have a picture where there is the description of Shiva and the description of Shankar, and you compare the two and you find that the two are not at all the same. So why people believe they are the same is because Shankar is the symbol of bodilessness, and Shiva is bodiless. And also because this bodilessness is the condition that causes everything to polarize and then burst apart. So that's destruction. Nothing happens in the subtle regions. No karma, no karmic account. You have pictures, it's like TV. You now understand that all that is the path of bhakti. Only the one Father gives knowledge. Be assured that he gives it in the confluence age. The people of Bharat receive the inheritance of heaven every cycle. And this is a matter of 5,000 years. Whereas they speak of hundreds of thousands of years. You know, people say, oh, I can't believe it, therefore it's not true. For lots of things they say that. And so they think 5,000 years is too short, so therefore it's not true. But he says, no, it is 5,000 years. So they think that the Iron Age alone is hundreds of thousands of years, whereas we say the whole cycle is just 5,000 years. And that they are putting out a big lie. And they call out saying, "Oh, purifier." But Krishna cannot be called the purifier. No one of any of the other religions would say that Krishna is the liberator. When people call out, "Oh, purifier," their intellects go up above, beyond. Even so, they don't understand it. There is so much darkness of Maya. Everyone is under a misunderstanding. They say that the scriptures have existed since the beginning of time, but they're not there in the golden and silver ages. This study is such that you can sit in class and study it even when you're not well. You can't make any excuses for not studying. Some cows are very good. Over to agriculture. Changes the subject instantly. Some cows are very good, but some cows would kick you. And here too, those under the influence of arrogance who are angry would even kick others. They would do disservice. So they should not be character defects, but karmic bondages are such that they don't allow you to claim a high status. The Father shows you the way to make your fortune elevated, but if you don't create your fortune, there's nothing Baba can do. It's up to you. The income is huge. Potential for income here is huge. So you should have the intoxication of earning this gigantic income. You invest 2 pennies and you get gazillions in exchange. So, but not very many people see it. So that's why. What would be the result if you didn't earn any income? That would be your condition every cycle. So the Father cautions everyone. He's not insulting you. Your children should not have any unclean habits. It's not a good idea to tell lies. Do service of the yajna happily. When you come to Baba, Baba signals you to do service. So definitely you should serve the one who is feeding you. He doesn't need any personal service, but participate in the work. Baba teaches you how to serve. Look how much service the highest on high Father does. You might even have to do such work that you never had to do before you came onto the path of knowledge. So you have to become egoless. This is the system of making people egoless by making them sweep the floor. Because they would say, "We have servants at home. How come you're asking me to do this?" So do not do anything which is against the customs here. To benefit others, do everything with your own hands as much as possible. So, when people come to the Western world, they have to. You have to wash your own clothes, cook your own food, drive your own car, walk your own dog, whatever it has to be. Whereas in India, there's a system of somebody else does it. And if you do nothing at all, that's a good idea. But it's a bit boring. If you get someone else to do what you need to do for yourself under special circumstances, you need help, you broke your arm or something, that's a different matter. But the point is to become free from ego and free from attachment. So attachment is this situation where men who are married assume that their wives will do anything. And then if something happens to the wife, they don't know what to do to make a cup of tea. Completely not able. So Baba says it's better to be free from that drama. No one can benefit without having the remembrance of Baba. So the more you remember him, the purer you will become. By having remembrance, you get obstacles. There are no obstacles to the knowledge. There are obstacles to remembrance. Remembrance will create obstacles, and also obstacles will prevent remembrance. So it's called Easy Raj Yoga, but it's really not. There are many points of knowledge. By remembering the Father, you will become fragrant flowers. But if you remember him less, then you will become less fragrant flowers. So your fragrance is all about absorbing that resonance from Baba, and it takes the form of the fragrance of purity, peace, power, love, bliss. Some of you are like uk flowers. Have you seen an uk flower? Yeah, they have them. They grow a lot in Shivratri time, and they're very similar to dandelions insofar as if you pick the uk flower, there'll be a white liquid that comes out of it. And if you get that white liquid on your fingers, it'll turn black and sticky. So the dandelions do that too. So uk flowers, they look very nice, but they're not very nice. So make yourself into a fragrant flower. So the ones people like are the frangipani. You know the frangipani? This is the, what do you call this in Hindi? I forgot. So those ones are all over Madhuban. They're white with yellow on the middle and 5 petals. You know those ones? Anyway, they're very, very nice fragrance. And in English, they're called frangipani. So you souls have to become fragrant. It is a wonder that such a tiny point has all the knowledge recorded in him. So Shiv Baba is a tiny point with all the knowledge. There is only one world. There is no heaven up above or hell down below. It's not like that. You understand the meaning of the Trimurti. And they named a road Trimurti Road. Some say that Brahma is Trimurti. They say Trimurti Brahma. We say Trimurti Shiva. They don't know anything of his biography. In the scriptures, they wrote the biographies of the elevated beings. So they tell the story of Lakshmi and Narayan, Radha and Krishna, who are all human beings. So the biographies of the people of the Golden and Silver Age, they are called scriptures, and the biographies of other people would not be called scriptures. So the biographies of deities are referred to as scriptures. Well, where is the biography of Shiv Baba? So they have something called the Shiv Puran, but that's not really the biography of Shiv Baba. He is incorporeal, and he himself says, I am the purifier, and everyone calls me the Father. I come and establish heaven. Bharat was heaven 5,000 years ago, and now it has to become that again. This is very easy to understand. Totally impossible to understand. He says it's easy. You try making somebody understand that. It's not easy. Baba says they have such stone intellects that the locks on their intellects just do not open. The locks of knowledge and yoga are closed. If you see it as a drama, as something that goes from the top to the bottom and again to the top, it's difficult for people to see it, but once you've got it, you can see it easily. The Father says, give the message to every home that the Father is the highest on high. So I think Facebook is in every home, right? So we give it through that. That would do the job. But the first floor is the incorporeal world. So from his angle, we're the furthest away, the third floor. So the first floor is the incorporeal world. The second floor is the subtle region, and the third floor is this corporeal world. So we're like a parking lot, it's -3. So if you children were to remember these floors, you would definitely remember Baba first, because he's on the first floor. You should run to do service. Baba doesn't say that you can't go anywhere. You can go anywhere. You can go to weddings, go on pilgrimages, but go to do service. You can give talks and you can say, one is a spiritual pilgrimage and this is a physical pilgrimage. You continue to receive many points. Go to the places of retired people and serve them. Kyoko is doing that. All right? She plays the music like SFYT plays music. And they like it, right? They fall asleep. They go into dream and they dream what you want them to understand, right? But there are all sorts of ways to. And in India, the retired people live in spiritual locations and they are looking for somebody to give them a lecture, so they like that. But also the different retirement homes here in US and other parts of the country, they need activities. And so Brother Jim has got a system going in a place like that for this. So there are all sorts of ways. So listen to them and see what they say. You should have leaflets with you. You can write down 4 or 5 main things. This is especially for India. First of all, God is not omnipresent. Nowadays, the Christians think God is omnipresent, but they didn't used to 100 years ago. So that God is not omnipresent. Krishna is not the God of the Gita. Write this down very clearly so that anyone who reads it would understand that this is the truth. So you have to be very clear. You need to be very clever about this. So Lena, you're a writer. Can you write this in such a way that anybody could actually get it? That's good work. Baba also tells you about the Trimurti. Continue to take this picture out of your pocket. Have you got this very nice little thing that somebody made in India, which is like a concertina with all the pictures, and you keep it in your pocket? I thought that was really good. But I don't know if they still have it. Do they still have it? Yeah. So take this out of your pocket every so often and look at it. Explain to anyone, this is Baba, Shiv Baba, and this is the inheritance, Vishnu. The picture of Vishnu is also very good. You can also do service on trains. So Indian trains in those days used to move at the speed of a goat or slower. I don't know if you've been on those trains at that time, steam trains, and it would go ever so slowly and it would take 100 years to get anywhere. So everyone was always bored and the people on trains always talked to each other. So it's a very, very good place for a captive audience of people who'd be very interested in what you say. and you're sitting there for 2 days to go a couple of 100 miles. So remember the Father. We used to go on that train. You go in white and you come out all black because all the smoke from the coal go in you. So remember the Father, and you will become the masters of the world. A lot of service can be done, but no one has the wisdom what to do, how to do. A lot of effort has to be made, so do not be lazy on the battlefield. Remain very cautious. A lot of service can be done in temples. Baba says, man mana bhav. That's all. Just perceive the mind of God with your mind. Become Sato Pradhan from Tamo Pradhan. You have to ensure that the main points are instilled into the people. Your children should be very concerned about doing service. All the knowledge is merged in the picture of the Trimurti. And the picture of the ladder is also very good. We have a great staircase in San Francisco where we went yesterday. Do you know how many steps there are? Must look like about 300 to me. And it's a mosaic. And so there's this beautiful mosaic on the, how do you say, the riser of each step. And you go up this picture. It's pretty much like the ladder. But you could actually make one of those in one of those Peace Park or somewhere, right? Because India's got plenty of mountains, Mount Abu, and you could just make everybody go up 84 steps with each one being alive. So everyone wants to make progress. That means they want to rise in order to earn money. So teach these methods even to small children, so everyone will thank you and say, it is a wonder of the Brahma Kumars and Kumaris that even young children give the knowledge which the sannyasis cannot give. When people receive these things for free, they will realize that you're giving them for their benefit. Otherwise, they think they can throw them away. They don't get it. Tell them this is free with no charge. You may read it and benefit yourself through it. So what Jagdish Bhai used to do is he would describe this piece of paper that he had in his hand so high and not let them have it until they valued it. And then eventually he would let them have it. But he wouldn't let them have something that they could throw away. So tell them you may read it and benefit yourself through it. Sheep Baba is the innocent treasurer. There are many children. Why would the father need payment from the children? He's a teacher, but he's also the father. You can do a lot of service on trains also. If you see someone who seems to be in a good position, explain to him and give him a picture. Tell him, benefit yourself and benefit others also. Acha. To the sweetest, beloved, long lost and now found children, love, remembrance, and good morning from the mother, the father, Bap Dada. And the spiritual father says, Namaste to the spiritual children. Spiritual children say Namaste to the spiritual father. And the essence is, do not do anything against our ways here. Remain egoless and free from attachment. As much as possible, do what you have to do for yourself. And do service of the yagya, what people call karma yoga. Yagya service in great happiness means a physical thing that's needed in the center or in Madhuban. Secondly, you don't have any excuse to not study. Definitely study. even when you're ill. And in order to remain enthusiastic, stay interested in doing service. And the blessing is, may you be master knowledgeful and become a destroyer of obstacles with the light and might of knowledge. On the path of devotion, Ganesh is worshipped as the destroyer of obstacles. And along with this, he is known as Master Knowledgeful, that is, the Lord of Knowledge. So the children who become Master Knowledgeful are never defeated by obstacles, because knowledge is said to be light and might, with which it becomes easy for you to reach your destination. And in the same way, those who are the destroyers of obstacles and who remain always combined with the Father, who continue to churn the knowledge, can never be defeated by obstacles. And the slogan is, will all the defects you have within you and without to the Father completely, and then you will get willpower. So play on words here.